Hello, Aries. Welcome to your March reading. It's hard to believe that this year is kind of going by so quickly, but it is. I'm really looking forward to bringing through all the messages that are coming through this morning in the channel messages and also what I'm about to look at in just a few moments here with the cards as well. Let me introduce myself first if you're brand new. My name is Ashbaugh. We'll be reading for the sign of Aries. You can use this for sun, rising, and moon. You can also cross-watch or watch on behalf of others that you care about in your life. And I always read 1 month ahead, which is why we'll be looking at it for March. But the first portion of the reading includes channeled messages that should be relevant for many of you that are here and now. So this really spans about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, depending on when you tune in. And yeah, I'm glad you joined today. A little bit about the format, and then we'll get started. I separate this into a few distinct parts. At the beginning, I have channeled messages, and I'll pull the camera down in a second when I put Apollo down. The channel messages come to me in, he's looking at them right now. It's all of these messages on the table. So when I show up early in the morning, basically about an hour beforehand, I'll feverishly write all of the messages that came through in dreams and in meditations. And then after that, I'll share it with you. Then we'll go into the Celtic Cross to kind of get a quick look at the high points, the challenges, and all the in-betweens. And I expand the forecast after that to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And then we go a little deeper into the soul path after that, focusing on anything here that just deserves a little bit more time and energy. And then we'll meditate at the end, okay? So really nice 360-degree look at everything that's going on. I'm gonna put down this lovely little buddy here. His name is Apollo, my little dog here. And let's get started. Okay, so this morning when I was tuning into your sign, I got a little bit of an old song in my head by Fleetwood Mac, and then I also saw lightning and thunder. And I think it's, what is it? Lightning strikes maybe once, maybe twice. I guess it's in like Gypsy. It's an old song by Stevie Nicks. But I was thinking about lightning, which I loved as a kid, not so much as an adult, because sometimes you think of like what it can cause with power outages and everything. But it's a beautiful phenomenon. It wakes you up. And one of the things that I was thinking about with all of this was how there's really this feeling of being alive, of being able to really connect with things. So let me quickly just show images. Of course, we all know what lightning looks like. But one of the interesting things is there's different types of lightning. There's, of course, the lightning in the clouds. And then there's also the lightning that we see when the energy kind of is exchanged from the earth, from the sky to the earth. And what we see in lightning itself is kind of, it's what's traveling up from the earth, even though it's kind of started up there in the clouds. We're seeing some of the energy kind of travel up there. And I was thinking about this too, like, where's your source of inspiration coming from? Where are you kind of finding that passion in your life? And the lightning is coming through to remind you that it's always there. Sometimes it just takes an external source to bring our attention to it, right? So as I said here, your spirit totem today is lightning. And the message here that I was seeing was to visualize it and then realize it. And when you think about lightning and thunder, and I probably should have put both of them on the totem because they work in tandem, we see the flash of lightning, and then usually you hear thunder unless it's too far in the distance. But what that's showing you is that visualization then can create the actualization in your life, some sort of realization of what's going to happen. So see it, believe it, and then you start to feel the effects of it in your life, just like you hear the thunder, feel the rumbling of the earth as that sort of vibration starts to happen. So use your voice as well. Thunder is anything but subtle, right? So we're going to have combinations of lightning and thunder here. So the lightning will be you being bold. The thunder would be you using your voice to be heard. This isn't a time to be a wallflower. I put this in another card here, basically. It's a time to stand out. It's a time to say something that matters. And also, action is required, something that I've been kind of hinting at in the past few readings and in a lot of the channeled messages. I feel like there's windows of opportunity that are opening up right now. And partly because we feel pummeled from so much of the energy of the past, 12 to 15 months of the pandemic, sometimes it just feels like, I don't know if I can do it. And what I was seeing with the lightning and thunder is you have to find a way to channel that energy into something that matters, okay? To that end, manage your energy and resources wisely. I think anything is possible as long as you are making proper sort of use of what you have. What comes to mind in tarot is the Six of Pentacles, where you have someone holding sort of like a scale and then some coins, and they're figuring out who to give what to and how often. You can't do everything for everyone. That's almost a surefire way for you to feel frustrated, to feel like it's just not working. And I know a lot of you who are working from home, whether or not you have children or a family, it's a lot, right? There's a lot of different things and different external things that are going on that might be making it harder for you to focus. And so it's an important time for you to try to balance everything out, including work-life balance. So it's harder when you have children because obviously you're going to be teaching them, trying to work, trying to keep the house in order, all of that stuff at once. And probably your partner could be home too. And it's just a lot of everything at once. And you both have to share the duties. Everyone has to kind of kick in. And it's really not one person can't do it all. This is a time where everyone has to sort of help out. Equity is so important overall, even if we weren't in a pandemic, even if these circumstances weren't the way they are right now, what really is coming through is, do you feel like the people around you have your back? Do you feel like the work that you're putting into a relationship, a job, a project is coming back to you? Or is it just this sort of like vampiric thing where it's constantly flowing in one direction? If that's the case, then this is a time to reverse some of that and bring the energy back. Going on to like a phrase that I would think of with lightning and thunder, and looking also at reciprocity. If you're working really hard and you're not getting credit or recognition for it, or other people are taking credit for it, you can't let them steal your thunder and vice versa. It's all about reciprocity and giving credit where credit's due and recognition as well where recognition is due. Even just little things saying, I'm so happy that you came into my life. It's a friend, for instance. Just thank you so much for being a great support. If you ever need anything, I'm here. I'm only a phone call away. Something like that can go a long way. Just saying thank you and returning the sort of gesture saying, you can always bug me if you ever need to. I'm here. So remember that's important to listen and to extend your ear as well to them. And those were the main messages with lightning and thunder. I will just say for me, I also think of epiphanies and just moments of inspiration when I think of lightning and thunder. So it can sometimes strike, the muse can come to you when it's least convenient, when you are half asleep, when you're taking a shower, when you're driving, when you're at work, when you're trying to listen to someone. But when that energy comes to you, just find a way to quickly sketch it out, put it on your phone or write it down. Then you can refocus on the task at hand because otherwise, you're going to lose it. And whenever I get dream messages, I write just enough so that I can remember a key couple of moments in the dream, and then it all comes back to me. But if I don't write anything down, I lose it. It fades like Atlantis into the sea, and I don't know where it's at. So find a way to just kind of trigger your memory, because those moments of inspiration, that's absolutely, that can be an epiphany or a connection to the divine, and you don't want to lose that, okay? This was very specific, and my guides had me write it out the way that I saw it. They basically said, like, don't keep the queen waiting. And the queen could be like a queen of swords or wands or whatever. But I think of someone that's in authority, a boss or someone that you care about. And they said, be punctual and be ready to have an audience with someone else, something higher. So I feel like some of you have a stepping up opportunity that's in front of you. And it's basically saying here that you don't want to lose or miss that opportunity because you're not ready. Luck is preparation and opportunity kind of coming together, right? And then you're just ready to do it. That preparation helps you when the opportunity comes, and it just works. It's a synchronicity. I believe that we create synchronicity, and synchronicity is really luck, but you have to be ready to go for it. And in this case, the queen would be someone that has an opportunity to grant you something or bring you into the fold or elevate your status. So there's something cool on the horizon for you. The timing is up to you, but I think it's important to be ready for that. So this is about preparation and punctuality, because then there was another piece of it where after I got the message about not having the queen waiting, the next message was I saw like someone speeding up the road in a car, and then I saw kind of like go on its back. And I thought, no, you can't rush. So this is not, there's a difference between preparation and punctuality, and then also rushing. Rushing usually happens when we're not ready and we're trying to kind of like make it happen in an amount of time that's not possible. So I would say if you're finding yourself in a place where you're rushing, then it's time to kind of, it's time to step on the brakes a little bit and decide, is there a better way to do it? Should we delay this? Did I miss that opportunity? Can I create something new? You have to get real with yourself there, because I saw more damage happening from rushing than simply saying, hey, I need some help, or this isn't the best way to do it. So be prepared, be punctual. And then if something comes through where you're being asked to rush, remember that your name is on the line as well when it comes to this. So you don't want that to happen. That's part of your reputation. And you also don't want to burn out or crash and burn. That's what I saw, was literally crash and burn. But I really think it's about burnout, mental or physical burnout. So it's important to pace yourself appropriately, right? Okay. The next visual that I received this morning was that of a fire drill. And fire drills, if you think back to, I don't know if they still do this in school, but like when I was a kid, we used to do fire drills occasionally. You would just basically try to understand, what do I do in the case of an emergency? Where can I exit? Where do I hide? Where are the fire extinguishers? If we break down that literal symbol into something that's more symbolic, I would say this is really taking time to prepare for the unknown, to prepare for surprises. And the act of doing it could actually save you from having to have an issue pop up, because you may discover, for instance, if you're looking at your house, there might be some foundational issues and you get someone to repair it before you have a leak, right? Or before there's an electrical problem. For your car, since I was looking at that, definitely take a look at your tires and your alignment and your brakes. Those things are so important. Make sure you have a spare. Make sure your battery levels are up to normal levels. And if not, then this is a time to do some preventative maintenance. And so the act of a sort of fire drill is really just saying, okay, what am I going to do if this, and this happens? And oh, by the way, I'm not prepared here, so I better, or I just found this. So do a little bit of work this month to just get some contingency or plan B options together. And you'll be so happy that you had them, because if something does come up, all of a sudden you have a little extra money, or you have insurance, or you have some sort of a plan that you can fall on. If something happens, you're going to be so happy that you did that work. It's not wasted time. It's necessary, actually. The next thing that I received was actually in my ears, and it was sort of like music and words that weren't matching up. The way that I interpreted this was, same song, different day, you need to change your tune a little bit. We can't keep thinking or singing or doing or saying the same thing. There has to be some changes that are happening in accordance to what's going on in the world around us. Everything's constantly shifting. We have to evolve as well. The other thing that I saw with that is to change your perspective and expect something wonderful to happen. There's a line, and I'll put it on my Twitter maybe later, from 2010, not 2001. There was a follow-up book and a follow-up movie, but the guy who came, I think it was Dave, right? He came back after he had kind of become a star child, and you saw him in a few places say something wonderful is going to happen. And his weird voice that was kind of digitally altered was in my head this morning. But what was cool with that is it was something wonderful too. It was the creation of like a new world or whatever. But you have to see it and believe it. We're going back to visualization. So you have to believe it and expect something good to happen. Because if you're constantly expecting something bad to happen, you are inviting it in. Preparing for the worst, but expecting the best is actually a good way to like think of things. All right, in case this happens, I've got everything covered, but I'm really ready for some good news. I'm really ready for a shift. I'm also prepared for if it doesn't happen, but I'm working towards the other end. That way you've covered everything off and you're in a good space. I think it's really important to plan for the future, even though the present is very uncertain. One thing that I've been seeing in my dreams, which is a welcome change, it's not necessarily just for you, it's also for myself. I've been seeing, this could be a couple years out, but I've been seeing moments where there are celebrations again. There is public gatherings. And there was a moment where I got emotional. I'm like, I guess I actually missed that. I forgot how it would be to be in a group again. It was in the future. I could tell because I saw people with more gray in their hair than I remembered, but I see it coming. So we will get there again. How long it takes, very much uncertain, very much there's a lot of deciding factors, including each and every one of us, our free will and what we do to help or hinder this sort of group experience that we're in right now. But what that told me was I need to plan. I actually saw a couple of celebrations. And because I'm your interpreter, in one I was wearing a suit and the other one I had a dress. I'm like, better have everybody wearing something. So keep a formal dress and suit ready. They were just showing me that everybody's going to need something. And also for those of you that are non-binary or whatever, they were just showing me the whole shebang. So keep something in your closet and prepare not for a rainy day, but for a sunny day, right? So think of a good celebration, something you want to do, plan for a trip in the future. Just don't book it right now. Get everything ready so that you have a bag, you have your formal attire, and you're ready for that celebration. Some of you may have decided, for instance, to get married, to move into a house, to get a new job, to do whatever it was, and you'll get the celebration later. So I see the delay happening, and I saw a lot of kind of joy. So focus on the future. We can't make it happen right now, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen someday, okay? Also, you have to make some room in your life for change, expansion, and dreams. If you start to give up on change, expansion, and dreams, then you're shutting the door to all of those things. So always believe that there's more to be discovered. It's kind of like if you were an engineer and you just stop trying to solve problems, then we don't evolve. We don't, we would still be working on Amiga, Apple IIs, and IBM PC Juniors. We wouldn't be working on what we're working on now. So, and YouTube wouldn't have happened, and we wouldn't have the ability to text and all of that stuff. So we've never hit the wall. As long as we're living and breathing and thinking, there's more room to go. There's more evolution. There's more growth, right? So all you have to do is take a look at your phone from 5 years ago and look at your phone now, and it's amazing. Maybe for next time, I actually have like the second generation iPod sitting in the house somewhere, and it looks like a big block compared to what we use now. And it's kind of amazing. Again, technology and evolution, how far we keep coming with all of that. All right, the last two were kind of interesting. I think that for those of you that are looking for information in work, what I'm seeing right now is it's time. I saw the queen ready, waiting, but that's also you too. You can be the queen or the king, basically deciding I'm going to take the reins here. So if you're not seeing a growth path because of whatever, age, experience, some sort of policy that's not right at work or whatever, it's time to explore new opportunities, because I feel like many of you are ready for that next step, that next rung of growth. Now, of course, we're in a sort of interesting economical time. So I've talked about this many times, but it bears repetition. When you decide that you want to move on or move up, that can be a 1 to 2 year cycle that you kind of put yourself on. And you could say, all right, so we're 2021. By 2022 or 2023, I really see myself in that, and circle a date on the calendar. That's what I did for myself. And I also had to get a certain amount in the bank so that I felt good about it. And once I had all of those things in alignment, I knew it was time. So don't rush it, but also, you have to sort of start to set some sort of a line in the sand so that eventually you're working towards that date. The other thing that was important was I was looking at a house, and for some of you, it either feels too big or too small, or it didn't feel like home. So I would say the home metaphor could be such a broad thing. You should just be at home, comfortable in your skin. You should feel at home where you're living. You should feel comfortable where you're working. If something feels like you've either outgrown it and it's constricting you, or physically, literally, the space is too small, it's time to move or move on. And we're in a retrograde period right now. So really what you'd be doing is doing the research during the next 20 days or so. If you happen to be watching this in March, we'll be out of it. But if you're watching it live in February, we're in it. So during this period, prior to March, I would say focus on looking at the alternatives, and then you can make the action happen in March, okay? And those are your many, many channeled messages for today. I think a lot of these are really great because they're helping you move, helping change happen. So let's take a look at the cards and see if there's some additional clarification on all of these points. If you just joined, don't worry. I always review this at the midpoint. So thank you for giving me a moment to neatly stack this up. I hope everybody's doing well today. It's good to see you. And again, I got a lot of information over the past few days. Partly because I didn't do a Thursday, because I usually start readings around the 5th of each month. So gave me an extra day to get some messages for you, Aries. Okay, let me get the cards set up here. I'm going to be quiet as I do this. I will rejoin you in just a moment, so thanks for your patience. Oh, we have two here, so I'm going to give you both. All right, let's take a look at all of the messages here. I'm really focusing on the star, the pentagram here. And for me, it doesn't really matter which direction this is in, because this is a circular card. So what I see with this is really aligning to all of your spiritual elements, because really that's what the pentagram helps you do, kind of align to earth, air, water, fire, spirit being the key thing here. So where is your internal compass pointing? What direction are you supposed to be going into? When the card is reversed, and I think it kind of was here when I picked it up, a lot of times we're focusing on ego, desire, fear, passion sometimes too. And I would say one of the messages I'm looking at when I see this is to try to elevate a lot of what you're feeling and seeing, and try to bring it to the higher dimensions, and sort of try to see, like I was saying, expecting something wonderful to happen, thinking about how this could help you get to the next level, thinking of what you've learned from that experience, and also trying to use more of the heart, the throat, the higher elements. You can't ignore one thing that's important with spiritual growth. It's actually pointing to the fact that there might be a need for some grounding, for your creativity to be expressed, and also for your power to be kind of harnessed. So if there's anything in those lower three chakras that aren't happening, if you don't feel safe, if you can't feel creative or passionate or expressive, or if you feel like someone's trying to control you, then those are the things to focus on. If it's more sort of like a fear thing that's coming up, then try to move beyond that. And I honestly, for me, it's usually preparation and education that can help me dissolve the energy of fear. The more I understand something, the less I'm afraid of what it might mean or what it might somehow manifest to be in my life. So I think that educating yourself and preparing yourself, as I talked about earlier, could be a really great way to kind of work around that. So overall, I like that. By the way, we can't ignore the fact that there's a beautiful star right there in the center. So I think that trying to move into the energy of the star is so important. And it's one of my favorite cards because it reminds us that we all have the capacity to shine, to inspire, to elevate. And also we're supposed to be exactly what we're supposed to be in this planet. So like we came in with an idea of what we wanted to express and explore. And I think we're taught to suppress it for a large part of our life. So those of you that are tuning in, you're in that awakening stage where you realize I may not be exactly what was expected of me. And that's okay. As long as I am true to myself, that's all that matters. All right, let's go to the center cards. We have the Two of Wands and the High Priestess. These are the two that I always talk about. They're necessary for manifestation. And they came right on top of each other here in the positioning. So I would say Two of Wands. That's exactly what I was talking about with envisioning it. Visualize, then realize. That's these two cards right here. Visualize, realize. She's the manifester, the High Priestess. And this is the one where you have to figure it out. Even though it's a pip card, even though it's in the minor arcana, it's one of the most important cards, the Two of Wands. I firmly believe it's one of the most important. In this one, we have a slightly different illustration. Normally, you would see the world, or you would see a crystal. It depends on the deck. In this one, we see a bird, but notice what's going on right there. You see how he's tied? So I think that's really important for you to be able to move around and reimagine. I don't know if I've ever noticed that before today, but he's tied to both of those. It's important for you to be able to stretch and grow beyond your initial expectations. So like when you're a kid, when you're maybe in high school or something, and parents are asking you what you want to do for a living, or if you're going to go to school beyond high school, like where you'd like to study, what you'd like to study, you're not always ready for that. And you kind of are throwing out, a life raft trying to figure out, well, this sounds like, okay, I'm going to do this. So you say that, you go to school, you study things, you maybe even work for a few years in that. But if you're not happy, it does not mean that something that you decided at 18, 20, 24, that has to be something that you do until you are 80, or whatever. You get to change all the time. And you can even take a degree and not use it completely or apply it in a different way. My undergraduate is journalism. What am I using? I'm using that to kind of help me ask questions to you and to the cards and to the guides. And it taught me a way to sort of to have integrity about the way that I connect with things. So I'm not, on television interviewing people, but I am talking to beings, entities, and energies from the other side, and then relaying that to you. So I am a journalist, just not the way I thought I'd be. So give yourself a chance to repackage what you think you want to be. My second degree was in storytelling. So I pull together everything, and I'm not maybe making a film, but I am bringing it visually together for you. So you may actually have already studied the right things or done the right things, but you just didn't realize that you have to put a new lens over it. Using that as an example, so you realize nothing's a misstep, nothing's a mistake. I just didn't understand the context with which I'd be using it later. High Priestess. Of course, this is the most psychic card that you can probably pull. Look at how she has a little baby here on this one. So one thing I think is important is where are you putting your energies? What are you putting your efforts into? Because when I see that, that's like a hidden ace there. So it feels to me like you could be planting the seeds for something really amazing right now. And that could be the seeds of your escape from whatever's tethering you in place right now. But remember, you're only as stuck as you think you are on some levels. And this reminds me kind of like of a scene from Lord of the Rings where Gandalf is up on the tower and he whispers to a moth or whatever who gets an eagle to take him somewhere. Whenever I see birds, you have to kind of let the universe know what you're looking for. You have to spread the word. A way that I found a lot of my jobs in the past when I was working in corporate jobs was I would talk to friends that were in other companies and say, hey, I'm looking for work. Have you heard of anything? Do you know of anything in your company or your division? And that's how I got two of the best jobs, actually. One I found on my own. The first one, the second two that I found were through connections. So I just had to talk to people and say, I'm not happy here. Do you know of anything? And then they were like, absolutely. Your timing is great. So that was a synchronicity. And that was also me being ready. And I had to open the door. So if you're stuck, the good news is you're pretty good at manifesting and creating. So start to talk, start to imagine new things, and start to plant seeds. This is the time. Even amid this sort of retrograde that some of you are watching live, this is a time to do the researching and get things ready. It's only 20 days. It's not forever. So don't freak out. I find retrogrades are also good for resolving things. So if you're stuck, technically looking for work is resolving that and fixing something that hasn't been working. So go for it. Life doesn't wait for retrograde. Just if you're going to send out a communication during retrograde, you just want to make sure that you check it for typos, you check it for tone, and you're sending it to the right person. That's all. Just kind of take your time a little bit. Here's the Queen. We have the Queen of Pentacles, deep past. This is house and home whenever I see Queen or King of Pentacles. So that's why I was getting that message of feeling at home, being at home. It's also a really good card for manifesting and fertility. So both of these, you can actually see the baby. Usually there's a rabbit on this card. It's not on this particular illustration, but that's okay, because we've got it right here. We've got the baby right there, indicating fertility. So if there's something that you want to see something happen with, this is the time to put the energy into it. The Queen of Pentacles is really good at kind of having, green thumb or the Midas touch, use whatever metaphor you want, but she's very good at making things go somewhere. So if you want to work on yourself, great time for that. The card is upright, but that doesn't mean that you can't decide to go back to school, learn something that you haven't already. This is just a really good expansion card. So far you're doing really great, because Two of Wands, High Priestess, and the Queen of Pentacles, they can hang around me anytime they want to. That's really good energy for you, okay? Six of Wands here in the recent past. It just decided to fly on the floor. Six of Wands is an interesting card because it's what we all seek sometimes. It's not always what we need. This is about success, about being listened to, about getting the attention that you want. But sometimes there's peer pressure that's a part of this. And sometimes there's a warning to stay grounded. You even see this. There's always someone either on a horse or in this case on a podium. And so I would say the one message that I'm getting from this one is to keep it real. Take time to check in with others around you to make sure that what you're seeing is what they're seeing too. But otherwise, it's a very good card showing that you're on the right path for success and for things being received the way they should be received. With that, always make sure it's because you want to do it, right? Because you feel it. I saw someone reply on my Twitter messages from the newsletter that I just sent out that they're tired of the moon. Too bad the moon is back. The moon is coming through in retrograde, much like the tower, because it's helping us see things that we have to see. So with the moon reverse, it's not so bad though. This is about seeing through illusions and moving past fears. And the moon is a good card. It's just as powerful as the High Priestess on some levels. This is much more about third eye and crown, but the moon is more instinctual. And that's why you see, the wolf here. And we always see a combination of a domesticated dog and a wolf, or two, like a wild animal and one that's been somehow domesticated. So what you want to look at here is going with that feeling that you have, like, is this right? Is this wrong? Should I go for that? And honoring that, because it was put in place to kind of help us survive. So typically our first impression, and this might be a combination of what you see and what you feel, it's going to lead you in the right direction. Don't be afraid to ask a tough question. We have the, in this deck, it's a lobster, but usually it's a scorpion coming out here. The thing with that, whatever's coming out of the water, it's something that we need to address. It could be a fear, it could be a desire, it could be a hope, a wish, something like that. The sooner you take a look at what it is that you've kind of buried, the better. And then you can get back on the path. If you look beyond these two animals here, you see that there's a path towards the moon, towards enlightenment. So I think that you just have one little hurdle, one little thing to overcome, and it's just a fear or just a little hiccup. And then once you get past that, there's some good things. Okay, so the next card that's coming through is Seven of Pentacles. I like how they focused on growth in this particular deck. I'm looking at this a little closer. To me, it actually looks like they put crystals, which is interesting. And this almost looks like bamboo or something. But anyway, doesn't matter. Basically with the Seven of Pentacles, the message here is a period of growth after a period where maybe you had experienced a setback, where you had debt, or you had loss, or there is a health injury and you're trying to get better. This shows health, recovery, and growth. So it's a good message. There is a sort of general asterisk, if you will, to not overextend and not overdo it. When the Seven of Pentacles comes up, it's basically saying, I know my limits, I know what I need to focus on, and I know that I don't want to do this again. Really good for retrograde, actually. Both the moon and the Seven of Pentacles. So dreams and instincts, this is your intuition. All of those things are trying to help you not repeat mistakes. So this is especially important when it comes to time, energy, resources. People around you, are they constantly taking, or are they constantly giving? What can you do to kind of even out the exchange a little bit? It's not just about money. It's also that time and energy. The next card is really just about making sure that those are in balance, work-life. I love that there's been a dog in almost every single one of these. When I see this many dogs, it's also about loyalty. So one of the things that you could be looking at right now is who can you count on? Who's been there for you consistently? And yeah, there's a message of loyalty and reciprocity here. What I like also is see the ships coming in. This is kind of leading the way to hopefully a future 3 of Wands. So keep everything balanced, and I think you're going to have more than enough. You're going to start to see some movement happening, right? Okay. The next one here is 8 of Wands, and 8 of Wands is fantastic, reversed or upright. The reversal of this is basically saying you don't have to do everything. There's a little bit of a similar message with this card reverses as an upright 7 of Wands, which is there something that you could let go of so that you can focus a little bit more? I went through the mathematics of the wands. You can let go of wands and not lose anything. It's one of the few particular cards where you can do that, and the 8 of Wands is one of them. So, this is an example. Everything under this is good for the most part. Yeah, there's nothing bad. All the way from the ace to the 8. 7 or 8 reverse is saying you could actually let 1 or 2 things go if you wanted to, and you still will be successful. You would still have the 6 of Wands if you do that. So less is more. And also, if we look at this, 6, 7, 8. So there might be 2 things that are holding you back, a couple of things in your past that are holding you back, and you'll be more successful when you let them go. Could be a friendship, could be a job, could be a thought pattern. When you let those go, there's more success and more abundance, and it's more truly you. So it just feels to me like you might be pulling yourself too far, spreading yourself too thin, especially since we got a balance card underneath that. This isn't always about being broke or not having enough. It's sometimes saying, I am imbalanced. Where can I find the balance in my life? And I think that's what's going on here. Okay, let's move along to hopes, fears, and opportunities. And this is going on around you. So just by the way, there's a lot of stuff going on. So if you are in a household where there's a lot of people, this is about just finding a little space for yourself. If you're in a company and there's a lot going on there, it's about not being the wallflower, which we talked about. If your life just feels like everyone else is busy, so what? This is really about finding what you need to focus on. Don't get lost in the shuffle. Because as I look at the horizon, we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is both literal and it's also a time sort of, you can look at it as a 12-year sort of thing, or not 12-year, 12-month sort of thing. Because you see all the different seasons here. You see winter, spring, summer, fall. So this could mean from February to February, we're seeing a period of growth and movement for you. And maybe you don't want to hear that, but like over the next 12 months, not 12 years, over the next 12 months, you should start to see positive changes. That sometimes we want it to happen just like that. But if you keep putting the work in, I think you're going to be in a really good space a year from now. So don't give up, plant the seeds, get things moving in the right direction, be patient, be ready, and maybe you will have an audience with someone that's ready to see that you've got it all together and you can make it happen faster. One of the cool things about reading is that you get to decide. Free will can absolutely come in here and navigate and make things happen faster or slower. So if you don't like a year, then make it 10 days or 10 weeks. Remember, you're the manifester here, okay? So you have choices here. It could take up to that amount of time. But the Wheel of Fortune is good. This shows me that for some of you, a change of job, a big life change as well. This is like a very, very positive tower. This is changes in the best possible way. But you have to be ready for them. I'm looking at the blind monkey here at the top. Sometimes things happen and it's like, how did that, well, I don't know if I can do it. Is this supposed to happen? There can be a happy surprise. So don't always second guess it. If it feels good, if it feels right and you put the work in, then yes, it's a good thing and you should take advantage of that when it happens. We have 3 of Pentacles here. It's reversed. The 3 of Pentacles is always a good card, upright or reversed. But when it's reversed, a lot of times I look at it as a chance for you to really try to focus on why you're doing something, because 3 of Pentacles is sometimes a card where you are looking for people to receive or to respect or to congratulate you. And with it reversed, it's saying, I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do or because I want to do it, not because I need approval from others or recognition. Recognition was on the top of my tongue, and that's what I was trying to talk about. So if you look at a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith one, you will see someone that's kind of doing the final touches on like working on an eave or a balcony or an archway, and they're kind of like putting on those final nails or the final touches, and people are kind of congratulating or looking at what they're doing. It's a card of graduation, of finishing things, of reaching that highest sort of pinnacle. But with it reversed, it's saying it's not for others, it's for you. So if you're going to school, do it because you want to study that particular degree or area of learning, not because your parents wanted you to do it, not because you're going to make a lot of money, because it's right. So this is just going back to the core of it, which is it should be for you on some level. The success will follow. The success is there, but it's empty if it's not something that you are looking for. Great time to go back to school. Great time to learn something new, and a great time to work on yourself. All of these are part of that, okay? Let's move along to the expanded forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. All right, starting with health. We have a card here for releasing. I'm going to pull it upright here. It really doesn't matter if this one's upright or reversed. It could just show that for some of you, you're having a hard time letting go. And this deck is sort of like a reinterpretation of tarot. So 13, death, rebirth, release. So when death is reversed, or when we have a card of kind of transitioning, which is reversed, I would say some of you might just be having a hard time accepting the changes that are going on in your life. But the truth of the matter is it's already happened, and you're already more evolved and ready to step into that new light than you think. I like that we see sort of like the star being coming out of this. So yeah, you'll be fine if you allow yourself to step into the change. So it's not just the world that's changing, it's also you. The change is already underway, and that's what I'm seeing. It can be stagnation. So if I were to read it as a regular death card, not just the word release, stagnation happens when, as I said, in a work situation, you're not finding the growth. If you're in a relationship, the same sort of thing. If you feel like things are being kind of constrained too much, or you're not allowed to speak or be yourself, there's some part of your life where you want to grow a little bit. You might also be bored with whatever you decided to do for a living. And so you're going to try something new. You don't have to literally go to school for the Three of Pentacles. It can be studying or working under a mentor and just figuring it out. So this is a time to do a little bit of work on yourself in that respect. From another health perspective, I really want to take a look at what's going on in the Two of Wands. So since we see tethers around the ankle and around the wrist, for some of you, there could be repetitive injuries. For those of you that are doing a lot of typing at home, maybe because of teleworking. Also, if you're not moving enough, our ankles can get weak, or you might have an injury that might be popping up there. So paying attention to the joints, particularly wrists and ankles, that comes through loud and clear as well. Recovery is possible, as we see with the Seven of Pentacles, so you just have to work on it. Balance is going to be important. Whenever I get a Fool or a Two of Pentacles, this can show, or a Tower card, any of these can show instances with balance that might kind of get in your way. What I'm looking at with this one, just like a regular Fool card almost, is that I don't like the way he's kind of like balancing on this log. It doesn't seem really secure. Watch where you're walking and watch what you're committing to as well. You might get yourself into some sort of a situation where it's unhealthy or not quite right. The Moon card in reverse, for those of you that might be trying to conceive a child, would tell me that the next month is a little tricky. And the emotional side of things is definitely going to factor into conceiving. So anything that you can do to relieve your stress or anxiety in general will be advantageous. We do have a baby here, so I feel like some of this could just be the timing. Give it a couple of months. Don't expect it to happen. Even like March, I would say even February and March just might be a couple of months where you take off and take care of yourself. There's no sort of like sprint to the finish line there. Sometimes if you go too far into anything, this could be the same thing for like a project that you're trying to bring to fruition. If you force the timing or put too much work into it, it's that burnout that we were talking about before. So give yourself time and space so that you don't get burned out, so that your body can repair itself, so that you can be more able to be a channel to carry through whatever it is that you need to. All right, those are your main messages there. For wealth, we have Keeper of the Scales, and it says fairness and balance. So this is a combination of the Two of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, and the Justice card, all of which have balance scales on them, right? So is it worth it? So if this is in wealth, this is just basically you asking yourself, Do I want to stay or do I want to go? Am I being respected? Do I feel appreciated? It's the decision phase. Balance and justice. Justice can be a little indecisive. Sometimes I prefer judgment because the decision's been made and it's more a matter of accepting it. But with justice, you have to weigh the options in front of you. So you and you alone can do that. But what I see here is some other external things that are going to happen in the horizon. With hopes and fears showing the Wheel of Fortune, there should be a path towards this, either in the next year or in the next 10 months. If it's not happening, then it might be time to look for something else, or maybe you want to go back to school, or maybe you want to do something on your own since we had the Queen of Pentacles there. Okay. Things look busy around you. So again, I think just making sure that you don't get lost in the shuffle is also really important. I do see the Seven of Pentacles, so that same warning about not overdoing it is important to repeat. But the final card is Three of Pentacles, and this is something weird with Pentacles, but in this one, like 3 is better than 8 and better than 7 because it shows that you are on top of things. And also there might be something that you've done that could get you recognition. So this is signing things, it's writing. So for those of you that are artists, selling your work could be a part of like bringing in new cash flow for you as well. So it is the artist card or the writer's card. So this is a time to go into that creative side of yourself and see if there's something else that you can capitalize on or explore. All right, let's look at love. You got 2 cards here, and both of them reversed, but we're just going to read them and kind of temper the messages a bit. The first one says, do something for someone else, give your attention to someone else. So I feel like this is a message, a general sort of nod that you can't put all of your energy into a sort of like obsessive relationship with someone. It's good to make sure that you're connecting with your friends, with your family. I would say with the card reversed, you don't want to put all of your energy in someone else either. Remember to put that back on yourself too. Nurture yourself. The Queen of Pentacles is one of the kindest cards. She can kind of make anyone feel at home, but she doesn't always give to herself the way she should unless the card is reversed. So yeah, I think there's just a time and a place for everything. And this month, there's a time and a place to take care of yourself a bit. Okay. The second card was spiritual connection, and it says this relationship has a spiritual connection that goes beyond this lifetime. So many of you are expecting or calling in a soulmate, and it's so interesting. I had a conversation with Spirit this morning before I woke up. As I woke up, even I was sitting in bed and I was seeing things. So what I saw was a wedding, but I saw like partners, and the universe was saying, how picky. What do you want? Like it can happen in any amount of timing. So if you are in a rush, you can find someone tomorrow. If you're waiting, there's more time that's might be a few years for that person to come in, but they're coming in. They're finding their way to you. You're creating that sort of cosmic gate between the two of you. So you have to give them time to also show up in the way that you want them to show up. So you're manifesting what you want in your love life. If you're single and looking, then it depends on what you're looking for. So if you have really high expectations, or if you have ridiculous expectations, it could be taking a long time. So there's nothing wrong with high expectations. There could be something where it's unattainable. What I see with this spiritual connection is just be patient. I think there's nothing to worry about with this, but it takes time and space, and we see that bridge that they have to cross. So yeah, it might take a year or two. That doesn't mean it's the end of the world, because there's work that you can do on yourself, especially with the Seven of Pentacles, right? Remember to embody those things that you seek in your partner. And if you can't do it, it's probably likely that the other person can't either. So don't expect things that you yourself couldn't do. And I think that's a good rule of thumb there as well. For those of you that are in love, I would say it's super important to let go of, again, maybe unrealistic expectations, or tying someone to something that they said long ago, but maybe both of you have moved beyond. So even in just a business partnership, there might be something where you work with someone else and it worked well 10 or 15 years ago, or even 2 years ago, but you both have changed and you're looking for something else. So this is about loosening the ties a little bit and deciding, do we still want to do this? There's always that conversation there. So for some of you, you're deciding, it's more in a practical sort of way. Does this work? For the rest of you, there could be some people coming into your life. With the Moon card, I would say be careful at this point, because over the course of the next month, this usually comes up when we are bringing in someone who's teaching us, right? teaching us not to do something or to pay attention to something. So the more that you can go into your fears or anything that you need to work on, the less you're going to be pulling in something that's teaching you. It could be also like a water sign or Scorpio that's coming into your life. And that's fine. I just think honesty and trust has to be dealt with. Right now, the timing is a little bit crazy because you've got a lot going on. So just make a real honest commitment to yourself and say, can I do it right now? Because when I look at the right here, everything is all about resources. 2 of Pentacles, 8 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, 3 of Pentacles. We have the 7 of Pentacles here and the Queen of Pentacles. Like, that's a lot of pentacles and a lot of busyness here in the environment. So I don't know if you have the time, and you have to kind of look at, how do I balance that? If you're happily married, but you're so busy that, you know, your partner's missing you, that could be part of this. So figure out how to kind of balance out, hey, let's do lunch, right? Let's spend some time together. And it's not always about work. The work will wait. If you were in your final day of life and you had to look back, would you ever regret not going to a Zoom meeting, over seeing your child do something that they care about, spending time with someone that you love, being with your mother or being with your father? Like, when you look at the big scheme of things, if your boss's meeting trumps all of this other stuff, at the end of time, you might look at this and think that wasn't the most important thing, because how much kind of connection was I getting from that one meeting where maybe we were just sitting there listening to somebody talk, right? So prioritize. If you're single and happy, it's actually a good time to be single and happy, because all the energy is really going on personal growth and expansion. So good for you. I'm not seeing a ton of energy of external people coming into your life, but because you have the High Priestess card here and we have this calling in a soulmate, you can focus on that. Just feel that that person's coming to you sooner than you originally planned, and that you're going to embody all those things, and that you're going to have this happy reunion. Have the dress or have the suit, like I said, ready for that, okay? So the next thing that I want to talk about is your Destiny card. It says, stand up and be recognized. This is what we've been talking about. Hello, lightning and thunder. Behold, you are the inspiration you've been looking for. Also, you are that which you seek. This is the star that I pulled here at the beginning, right? So this is the star. You are the star. This is you being the star in a different way. But remember, you actually don't need any adulation, any sort of, you know, public recognition to be that star. So notice how everybody has their own sort of star moment too. We all are that which we seek, and nobody's better or worse. You know, we're just all on a different path and a different journey. But it is important for you at this point in time to do something that feels right, that resonates on that high star level, and also that makes you feel like this is right, this is the right thing, this is the right time. If you're looking for a soulmate, then also as you get into your higher energy, they'll be able to recognize or see you as well, okay? So by the way, I see a couple comments in chat. The way that I work is I'm an intuitive, I'm a clairvoyant, I'm a psychic. So if you show up in this reading, you're likely to get something that resonates for you. That's one of the magical things with all the signs that I do. And you'll see people that show up for all 12. The beginning portions especially, when I do the channeled messages, are going to resonate for a lot of people, because anybody that shows up in the room, I'm getting messages for the night before. So if you feel like it's resonating, stick around. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not just doing horoscopes. I'm an intuitive. So I'm basically doing 12 psychic readings every month. And so sometimes, 13 now, because I do collectives. So just show up. If you need some help, show up, and something should resonate. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at a quick review before we go into the soul path. So your spirit totem this month is lightning, also thunder. I didn't mean to leave you out, thunder. So lightning and thunder. Really, what it's telling us here is to visualize and then realize. See what's possible. Use your voice and actions to bring that into fruition, to bring it to life. Act now. Lightning strikes once or twice, but it usually doesn't happen in the same place twice, and it usually doesn't happen at the same time. So I would say if you feel the inspiration or the muse calling to you, then this is the time, this is the place. Go for it. Be bold. Stand up and be recognized, right? Because you want to make an impression, and it's not the time to be that wallflower. You don't want to blend in with the wallpaper. Manage your energy and resources wisely. A lot of you are kind of at that place where maybe you're giving too much to someone or something, be it a work or a relationship. There's enough, but only if everyone kind of shares equally in responsibility, in reciprocity, and also in the next piece here, which is making sure that, again, everyone gets their moment, everyone gets the recognition that they need. That includes you. If you're not getting the recognition that you need, you already have what it takes to do it. So do that somewhere else where you're going to get that. Because obviously where you're at, there might be people that just aren't ready or willing to give you the accolades or the growth that you deserve. Don't keep the queen waiting. If there's an opportunity that pops up, I want you to be ready to really partake in that opportunity. And you may be the queen too, right? So this might be something where you decide, like, I want to start a business or release something independently, and this is the time. Yeah, I agree. Don't rush. Being prepared and being proactive it can actually help you avoid this. Rushing usually happens when there's a lack of preparation. You're trying to make something happen in too little time. Better to raise your hand and to pump the brakes at that period, because what I saw was a car flipping over. So more harm than good done by rushing through something, so don't rush. Try not to work so fast that you crash and burn or burn out. That's another piece that we see here, is that you might just feel a sense of exhaustion, physical or mental or spiritual. Good to have that sort of contingency plan or fire drill, as I said here, in place, because the act of preparing for a fire drill can actually help you avoid danger altogether. So you might have a plan B that you're like, oh my God, this is actually even better than what we were doing. And you might have this sort of moment of clarity when that happens. You got to change your tune. You have to change your perspective. Expect something wonderful to happen instead of waiting for the worst, or saying, and in effect, almost cursing yourself, like, I always have bad luck, or this isn't going to happen, or I never date good people, yada, yada, yada. None of that. It's important for you to start to change your perspective and think, I've done the work and I'm ready now for positive change. I've earned this. I've earned this chance to step up. So you might, like I said, you might be the queen. You don't have to wait for the queen or have her waiting. You have to just sort of step into that role. Plan for the future, even if the present doesn't sort of seem like it's what you want it to be. I would say especially if it's not, because the present is kind of waking you up. And we have these moments where it's sort of like, why are you doing this? And it's okay to kind of have a little mini breakdown where you think, why am I doing this? The answer is maybe you shouldn't be. Keep a suit or formal dress in your closet and make space for something positive to happen in your life. Good news, like I said, something wonderful. You have to make sure that change and expansion and dreaming can always be there. Don't give up on that. If you do, you're literally shutting the door. If you can't find that growth track in a work or relationship or another part of your life, it's time to kind of like the tower that I saw in my newsletter. It's time to break the foundations down and start again. And finally, you should feel at home wherever you're at and whatever you're doing. And if you don't, there's a need and a desire maybe to make that change happen. We saw the star come up a couple of times today. It's here right there at the top. And notice everybody, this is your star family. This could be the high sort of energy that you're calling in with soul partners. This star is also reminding you to pull in all of the things that you can do, from inspiration to practical arts to spiritual energy. Focus on where that spiritual side is bringing you. Do you have to do some healing? Are you ready to go higher? Wherever your sort of star is pointing, just honor it and go with that flow. Two of Wands, one of my favorite cards. In this particular deck, there's a warning or an encouragement, I should say, to just untether yourself. You're not stuck. You have to keep reaching out and sending out the message to the universe what you're looking for. And you'll manifest it. If you can see it, you can do it. You can also do it on your own. There may be someone in your life that steps in that wants to bring you into their court, so to speak. Just make sure that you like their company, right? Not every queen and king is equal. Take care of yourself as well. That's something that we talked about. Success is there, but it's empty if you don't feel what you're doing. Feel what you're doing. I think that's so important. Face fears, face uncertainties, honor your instincts, and know that you're being shown things that you need to resolve. We're in retrograde. It's expected for the moon to come through. It's also highly creative. This and this mean that you should have like a ton of creative energy coming through this month, no matter what you do for a living. So I mentioned engineering's like a great path for creativity. Sometimes we think someone's going through just like all of the mathematics or science of it, but really cool products and services come through engineering. So it doesn't have to just be an artist. It can be someone that's working in applied mathematics or science that might get a sort of intuitive epiphany, and they go with it, and a really cool product and service comes out of that. Or you just feel stuck in your life and suddenly it comes to you like eureka. Seven of Pentacles, keep growing, keep improving, don't overextend yourself. Two of Pentacles, make smart choices. Some of that might be involving letting go of some of the things so that you can not be tethered and be more in your sort of ability to reign supreme, to do something that's really important. Growth is on the horizon. The timing is really up to you, and we talked about that. Some of you might want to go back to school. The other piece of this is about realizing that recognition isn't what this is all about. It should just feel good. If you feel that you're doing what you want to be doing, then you already have that internal recognition, and then it ends up being a nice cycle. People see you having good self-confidence, good self-worth, having good sort of center, and they want more of that. So it actually helps bring about more abundance. Move through stagnation in your life. Step into the change. You're already ready for it. You just have to see that you can do it yourself. Other health notes are really about, again, not overdoing anything, paying attention to the joints, which we talked about. If you're trying to create or conceive, give yourself time to do that, whether it's literally conceiving a baby or trying to bring a project into fruition. It's time for decisions when it comes to wealth. We have fairness and balance. The fairness piece really was about, are you getting what you should? Are others people getting what they should as far as recognition and abundance? And if not, why are you there? Is the amount of time that you're spending worth the money that you're receiving? What are the sacrifices that you're giving up for this? And do you just like what you're doing? Do you want to do something else? There's a lot of decisions that are coming into play. Ultimately, I think it's bringing you in a better place because we're ending with two higher resource cards than what we started with here. And you have the capacity, as I see in the deep past, to do anything that you set your mind to. So the Queen can bring the Wheel of Fortune and Three of Pentacles into fruition. I like what I see. For relationships, spread the love, but also don't spread yourself too thin. Very similar message from what we talked about earlier. Don't obsess over one person. I think that's super important. And then if you're waiting for some sort of a higher love or higher relationship, it takes time. So keep calling to that partner, but more importantly, start working on yourself. Realize that you are just as lovely with or without this person. This is just a mirror of the great work that you've done, honestly, at the end of the day. So the more you step into your power, step into your sort of starlight, the quicker that person will find you anyway. So you are that which you seek. And it actually says you are the inspiration that you've been looking for. So not in an egotistical way, but part of our interesting journey on this planet is to rediscover our divinity, and that we're not alone, and that, again, sometimes what we're looking for, we've already found. We just have to sort of like see it, right? Okay. So let's go a little deeper into the soul. I want to look at the interesting tethering that I've never really seen in the Two of Wands. So what is it that you could either embrace or step away from in order to be more fully realized or happy? All right, let's take a look at the cards and see what the message is. Judgment. Wow, interesting. All right, so we actually see all the different sides of judgment in this card. Sometimes there's the feeling of being judged or having your beliefs or your decision not understood by others. There's this fear of, what will people think? What will I do? What will happen if this steps away from me? Because in a typical judgment card, you would see people rising from the dead, and you would see basically Archangel Gabriel or Michael somehow connecting with the people. It's Gabriel, I think, because it's blowing its horn. And then you see the souls rising. So there is death and rebirth as a part of judgment. There's also a decision and a movement into something new. So the question here is, are you ready to rise and become the phoenix? Are you ready to see that you are more than what you were, or that what you are right now? There's never a full stop. There's always a transformation of energy. Energy doesn't end. It just moves into a different form, right? So what you're constantly remolding. That's why in the book that I wrote, death is a shapeshifter. I would think if anything could be a shapeshifter, it would be death, because it's constantly moving, and it was phasing in and out of dimensions in the book that I wrote. So I think for us, we're very similar to that energy of being able to change if we allow ourselves to. So I think for many of you, it's a decision. Can I see myself as something more? What will I be if I'm not this? So when you realize that you are limitless, you're not limited, you have no limits, and you are eternal, then you just have to kind of take a leap of faith. Because if you don't get it right this time, you can try it next time. You can keep trying it. That's why we keep coming back. So see yourself as more than you are. When you truly believe it, because judgment is also, I believe it, I accept it. It's surrender on some levels too. Then you can move on. Then you can go higher. Okay? You're not done. It's a phoenix. You're not done. You're going to rise up. You just have to get through this phase down here, which is, I'm stuck. I don't know if I can do this, right? So you're not stuck. But you may not like what you see sometimes. You may not like the fact that it's time to move on, or that, things worked out the way they did. But when you start to accept that something more may happen, then it will. Okay, a card just flipped out. I'm still going to pull another one here, but we got the Chariot card, which is really focusing on you taking control. And notice how this Chariot has a single horse, and it has a lotus blossom, I think, in the background. So it is about developing your crown chakra, your third eye, really going into what you see yourself doing. I want to pull an extra one for the moon, and then we'll do a wild card. That one just flipped out, so I read it anyway. So for the moon, hopes and fears. Okay, so it is love. That's why I was seeing weddings in my dreams last night. Okay, so Two of Cups shows me that which you seek is coming, and I like this non-traditional approach. Love can take any form. That was something that I was seeing in the dream. It felt like whoever was there wasn't what I expected the person to look like. So for you, your new best friend, your new love, your new dog, because I think soulmates and love can come in many forms. It just may not meet your expectations. So I like that we have a kind of atypical Two of Cups where we see two guys here. We need to see more cards like this that show love in all forms. So this could be a best friend. This could be a lover. This could be someone that doesn't quite meet your expectations. But I see a happy surprise coming when it's in the relationship area. So open yourself up. And the question that the universe wanted me to position and kind of put out to you is, what's more important, quality or speed? Because there is that choice. If you just want something or someone, there's a lot of choices, but they may not be the highest quality. So if you're really ready to wait, I see that there's something coming, okay? So some good news there. Don't be afraid that there isn't going to be something or someone. If you're in a relationship, this is about getting back to what you had. There's still that person that you fell in love with. So this could be a time to rekindle it. If you're single and happy, the Two of Cups is showing you that you do have an ability to partner up. And since we had like a same-sex card there, that means that it could just be a great business partnership too. So you can read that however you like to. All right, let's focus on your wild card for the future. We have the Four of Wands. Again, I like that we have, in all of these, we have non-traditional partnerships coming through. This is a time for friendship and or more. So some of you may have a friendship that develops into something more, or something where you think maybe, again, if it's business, it could be something very substantial. You think, well, let's try working together. And then all of a sudden you have a company together, or you start dating someone and then it gets really serious. I like what I see here. Remember the Wheel of Fortune, everything in its time, in its own time. So just be ready, keep working on yourself. And I think the most important thing for those of you that are calling in love, because some of you are, by the way, are these two cards. So actually, yeah, wait a second. Yes, okay. I want to make sure I got this. So the last one that I read here in the Destiny was you are the inspiration that you're looking for. And then as you become that inspiration, you call in that person almost just by the sheer act of being you. And they can see you because you're more sort of in your light, in your power. You are the star, right? So that's what we're going to do in our meditation today is we're going to try to shine brightly so that we can get whatever we want to get in our lives, whether it's more recognition, whether we want to heal and overcome the shadows of the past, or if you're trying to bring in partnership. Maybe for some of you, your partner's passed. For those of you that are retired, I try to pull in for all ages. So for those of you that have lost someone, judgment can be someone who's passed too. There's a sort of moment in time where you can get back to who you are, regain your control and your power. When you're least looking for it, there could be other friendships or love interests that come in. You have a little bit of both here. So it kind of is the universe asking you, what are you looking for? Are you looking for friendship? Are you looking for love? Are you looking for speed? Are you looking for quality? You get to decide, as you always do, I'm just showing you that there's some options for you, which is good. So you feel empowered and you get to decide. All right, let me get the singing bowl set up. Before I do that, just a couple quick notes. First of all, thank you for anyone who did Super Chat. I didn't even go into that at the beginning. Super Chat is a way that I can continue to update all of the cards here. So I don't really answer Q&A, but if you like what you're seeing here and you want to show some support while we're doing the meditation or anytime today, you can do that. And if you would like to follow me on social media, that would be awesome. It's a great way for you to keep in touch with what's going on. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I use the story feature to remind you of what's coming through for the next day or the next reading. And if you want to support me on a regular basis, you can do it through Patreon or clicking the join button here. And Goodreads will tell you a little bit more about my book. All of the different social media sites have a username of @NicholasAshbaugh, except Twitter, which is @NAshbaugh. So I'll get into more of that later. Right now, I would just say, if you like what you're seeing, hit the like button and subscribe. It actually really helps with discovery, so more people can see what we're seeing here. So thank you for doing that. All right, I'm going to get set up now. This will only be a couple of minutes here, so I'd love for you to stick around. I may pull a card later, but I think we got a lot. So let me just see how we feel after the meditation and what time it is. But sometimes I'll pull one more card for that, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, so since we're looking at stars, I think it would be cool to see yourself sort of an evening setting. Maybe just as the sun is set. So imagine that you are maybe, or if you like to be in the forest, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. Find a place that is sanctified for you. I'm going to try to pull both of them together. So I'm going to imagine that I'm just at the edge of the forest, looking out now at a cliff horizon. And as I'm closing my eyes, I can feel the sort of difference. If you've ever hiked right as the sun is setting or whatever, you can actually feel the cool air coming through. There's almost like a defined difference between the cool draft coming in from the mountains. So feel that you're starting to get this nice cool energy around your body that's waking you up a little bit, even though it's nighttime. And as you open your eyes in the meditation, you can see just this really thin veil of light around the edge of the earth. As the sun is going all the way down. And as it kind of finally recedes beyond the horizon, now you're paying attention to the beautiful stars. And you're at a place in the environment where you're away from the city, so you can actually see the Milky Way. You can see the dense stars that are actually there that we've kind of lost touch with because of city lights and light pollution and pollution. But in this particular meditation, you're away from all of that. Take a deep breath, in fact, because that's something that we've been afraid to do so much in this pandemic, and it's not good for us. So I want you to feel safe and take a nice deep breath, smelling the beautiful, maybe it's honeysuckle, or you can smell some sort of natural blooming flower as you're breathing in. Exhale, let it go. Allow your breath to be an offering to the forest around you, looking up at the stars above you. I want you to find the brightest one. It doesn't have to be Polaris. It can be any star above. And I want you to focus on that light. It can even be a planet if you'd like it to be. Focus on that light and see a sort of recognition, specifically if you're looking at the stars, because a lot of times we're looking at things from the past, looking at things from, millions or billions of years ago. And as you're looking up at the past, there's this reminder that, life moves on, light moves on. You make an impact. You're going to make an impression on this earth. So ask yourself, this is going to help you as you make decisions in love and work and life. What is my impact? What is my legacy? How do I want to be seen in the eons that will come after my life on this planet? Give your heart and soul time to answer that. You don't need to answer that now. Just listen to what the star says to you. And as you breathe, I want you to feel as if the star is sparking a light within you. Imagining now that at some point you could even start to rise up energetically, just like you see in that final card, moving up towards the star until you have it in your hand, almost like the hermit and the lantern. You're going to go up and reach the star. So as I'm meditating, we're going to increase your frequency and vibrational energy until you can reach up to the star. And then I want you to grab the star at the end, and we'll do a little something after that. All right. So close your eyes. See yourself connecting with the star and just listen to the singing bowl for a minute or so, and then we will finish the meditation and bring the star into your energy. And as you take a moment to gather where you are, I want you to kind of feel this sense of lightness of being. It's almost as if you're floating, light as a feather. And as you look around, you can see not just the Earth is in the distance. You see all of the galaxies, all of the stars, and right in your hand, you can touch this star because you're bigger than life. Obviously, if you were a regular being, it would be difficult, but you're just as big as a galaxy right now, just in your highest self. So I want you to pull that star into your heart, into your being, and take a deep breath and realize that all along that was you up there that you were looking at, and you're integrating with your high self, right? So nice deep breath, inhale. See your energetic self suffused with light, filled up with light, shining in the star, and now you are that energy which you saw up above. And just allow yourself for a moment to feel the strength, to feel that sense of being able to do whatever you set your mind to, and being clear in energy, clear in decisive ability, just basically crystal clear. Allow now your energy to float back towards the earth like a feather, gently and easily, taking your time, enjoying every step of the journey. As you look back at the beautiful stars above you, a reminder of where you came, where you once go again. And as you gently come back towards the planet and you see yourself there on that hilltop, I want you to kind of identify your energy and then just gently move in through the crown chakra like a feather and feel the light, feel the energy. It's like you plugged into an outlet. If you were tired before, if you were feeling sad before, all of those feelings are replaced with this sense of lightness and brightness and energized sort of being. Take one last breath and imagine that you're snapping the sort of energy self and the physical self together. And bring your hands together as you exhale, feeling the light, the warmth, the energy which you've always had. Put your left hand on your heart, right hand on top of that. Seal in that heart space and the star that you've brought into it, and realize now that it is your time to shine. It is your place to grow. And paying attention to the messages that you received while you were out of body, know now that you're going to be able to make better decisions about how and where to spend time and energy. We'll pull one last card for the week ahead for whenever you watch this. And we have the Emperor in reverse. So one last message here is that you and you alone have the power to make things happen. And if people around you have a difficult time allowing you to do this, we see a very sort of bullish Emperor here. That's okay. You don't have to explain yourself. In fact, this might be the time for you to take the reins and say, it's my time, it's my place. I'm going to find a way to do this on my own. So yeah, take control and don't let somebody stop you from what matters in your life, okay? Let me just wrap up everything here. I already talked a little bit about how to follow me on social media. I'd like to remind you again for the importance of liking and subscribing. So if you enjoyed what you saw here, please do hit the like and subscribe. One last time, I'll flash up all of the social media handles. You can go to my website for more information on that. Thank you for everyone who did a super chat. It helps out more than you realize. Another way to help out, which is equally as important, is through Patreon, or you can do a one-time contribution through PayPal. I'll put a link here real quick. Patreon is a great way to basically be able to connect with me on sort of crowdsourcing. You can also do it here with the join button on YouTube. And in addition to getting some cool emojis and a different colored text, it also helps me buy cards and also supplies. So thank you to everyone who's done that. If you prefer to do a one-time contribution, you can also do it directly through PayPal. And if you want to know, I'm going to post all of the links up later today. It takes a while for me to put all of the links in, but the schedule is on my website. I just sent out the monthly newsletter, which is something you guys should get for free if you'd like to. And the last thing that I want to mention here is my book. I kind of allude to that and I have it sitting in the background, but if you enjoy a good fantasy or science fiction book, you can check out The Luminous Ones with the link that I just posted. It's on most major retailers, both domestically and international, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, etc., and then a bunch of international ones as well. So check it out if you would like to. And I think that's everything. If you happen to be watching this on replay, there is an applaud button right by the thumb up and thumb down. That's only going to appear if you watch it on a computer or on an Android. For some reason, they haven't put that on all devices yet. And I pinned a comment at the earliest point when I started for my website. Everything's available on my website, nicholasashbaugh.com, if you have any questions. So thank you, everyone. It's Friday today when I'm filming this. I'll be back on Sunday. We'll be doing Taurus then, and then I will do Gemini on Monday. So again, take a look on my social media platforms for more information. And in the meantime, I just want to wish you a very happy weekend. And I hope that you enjoyed today. Some really powerful messages came through. Remember here that there's some great growth and development that's happening for your sign. So step into that light, take care of yourself. Thank you to Maria and Dakota for helping out with moderation today. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. All right, guys. Bye-bye.